So things that are worth doing are worth writing down, and that's the purpose of this protocol. It forces the investigator to put his or her thoughts in clarity. It is a guide that can be used for people other than the author to do the study in the author's absence. And also, it's essential in getting the review board's approval, especially in the case of having human subjects. It can be of great benefit because your colleagues can read through your protocols and with those protocols can give you good advice on improving. If those things are not written down, of course, then it's difficult to transmit that information for evaluation and for scrutiny. Now, we talked last class about the items you need to address in your protocol, one being title, the other being authors. Again, you can have a fantasy author if you would like, but I don't want you to team up with another person on the same protocol. I want you each to write your own protocol. The introduction, you spend a good deal of time on your introduction. The introduction is used to present the overall question that you had, the overall problem that you saw in regards to the issue at hand. And in order to flesh out, to learn more about that particular issue, that particular problem, that particular question, you do, of course, a literature review, and you get yourself up to date on things. And after doing all that and having time to reflect, you write a hypothesis. It's probably best in your introduction to place the hypothesis near the end of your introduction and to actually state, this is my hypothesis in doing this this procedure, this experiment, and in writing this protocol. Now, the methods section is really a recipe. It is supposed to be detailed, but not detailed to the point of ad nauseum, but detailed in such a way that someone else could look at your protocol, your methodology, that will be published, hopefully eventually, in a medical journal, and could actually use your recipe, your methods, to reproduce the experiment for his or herself. In that recipe, we would like you to have are indications as to what kind of design your subject, your protocol is taking. The different kinds of designs of protocols we talked about. I believe it's in Chapter 7, isn't it? You can find it in your book, Chatburn book. You need to talk about the research subjects. Who are your subjects? Are they humans? Are they primates? And what the inclusion and exclusion criteria are in choosing those subjects in a particular population that you want to test. How did you come across your particular subjects? Did you recruit them? Did you gather them randomly? Are there certain subjects that you want to exclude for any particular reason? And then the next thing to talk about in your methods is the interventions. Many times you need to be quite specific about what kind of intervention you are going to be doing on the patient, on the subject, putting a primate on a transatlantic flight, giving a diabetic patient a particular pill or a particular placebo, and maybe not immediately in the methods, but afterwards in the methods, making some indication as to what kind of risk the subject is going to undergo in participating in this study and receiving this particular intervention. And then the outcomes. What are you going to end up measuring? You're going to pulse ox on a baboon traveling transatlantic, blood pressure changes after taking a particular pill. What kind of outcomes are you going to measure? Up to that point, you're pretty well done so far with your protocol now. You haven't been taught about calculating sample size, determining which kinds of statistics will be appropriate for your investigation. This is not a paper, so you don't have any data to deal with, to crunch, to develop demographics, descriptive statistics, really nothing more. The only thing you would need to do at this point to end your protocol would be to give us some good references that were used in the the development of your question, in the development of your problem and hypotheses, and list those 2 or 3 questions, or references at the end of your paper. Again, so anywhere between 250 and 500 words. It's good if you write it out a few times so that you can edit maybe even have one of your friends go look it over and edit it, eliminate unnecessary words, and that kind of thing. I guess if I was doing this for the first time, or really for any time now, even in my old age, doing another protocol, first thing I would do was think of a very interesting subject matter, develop a question about it, or see a problem somehow in the within my observation of what I'm observing. Why is the curb 3 inches up on First Avenue? I see people tripping on it. Wouldn't it be better if the curb was a little bit further down so people weren't tripping? That's a really poor example, but coming up with some kind of a question, an idea, and then after that idea is established, do a literature review on curb sizes, on city ordinances, on wheelchair ordinances, on heels of shoe height, all those types of things to educate yourself on the subject, and then develop some kind of a hypothesis. Hypothesis being if cities that have curbs that are 3 inches or less from the street have less people tripping on them. Again, a very poor subject, very poor example, but it gives you somewhat of an idea. You need to have some time to think about your idea. You need to have some time to think about putting your thoughts on paper, and it is after quite a bit of contemplation, I believe, that you can come up with something good enough to place on paper and present. So I hope you guys do well, and I'll see you back in a couple of weeks.